Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Titans card review. The last of the Druid cards have been revealed, as seen by Ron, if you want to check out his reveal. But are they going to break the game? Are they as insane as the last batch we saw from Tice? And not really. They're kind of whatever. We'll go over them. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about their impact. And if you want to win these cards, we're giving away 2 regular pre-orders, 2 mega bundles out of my pocket. All you have to do to enter that giveaway is like and comment in the video description below. Be subscribed to the channel. We are just less than 100 subs away from unlocking that next mega bundle. So hit that sub button. Make me go broke. We'll have 3 mega bundles to give away if we get to 71K. Anyways, let's take a look at those cards. And starting off, we have the Forest Seedlings, a 1-mana spell. Summon 2 1/1 saplings. It blossoms in 2 turns. So it's like Living Roots, except you can't choose to deal 2 damage. However, basically, if this has been in your hand for 2 turns, it upgrades and you get 2 Treants instead of 1/1 saplings. So it can be like a Treant Druid card. Is that good? I like a token druid. It's pretty fine. Like, what, get 1 mana, get 2 1/1 saplings. You play that on 1, you feel good. That's already proven to be a playable card. You don't have the flexibility of a Living Roots, but you hold on to it for a little bit. You upgrade it. That's fine. The thing is, you typically in these decks just want to always play this on 1, right? Like, this is a weird one where you don't really want to hold on to it and get Treants. Like, obviously there's synergies, like turning them into 5/5s with Taunt, with the card that Tice showed earlier. There's synergies with what we're going to look at in a second. Also synergies in Wild with a ton of different cards in getting those Treants. It's just a weird one. It's really a weird one, but I'm not going to say a card that gets you 2 1/1s on turn 1 isn't good enough to see play, because it is in certain token druid decks in Standard and Wild. There's just typically better options, but I'll give it a 3 in Standard and Wild, just because like that's a playable effect. It's not terrible. It's not like amazing. It's just fine. And the Blossom in 2 turns, you can absolutely use that as well. It's just not like an amazing card, but it's playable for sure, depending on, you know, you're definitely wanting you to play either Treant Druid or like a token druid strategy, but it is playable, and the Blossom part isn't required, but certainly can be a good thing. Just kind of like anti-game plan for a lot of, you know, a lot of the strategies that revolve around a token druid. We also have Frost Lotus Seedling, a 3-mana nature spell. And by the way, all these spells can cost -1 mana with that new spell that we talked about last video, which is just busted. Don't forget that. And yeah, Frost Lotus Seedling, 3-mana nature spell, which can be randomly generated by that spell as well, the 2-mana one. Sorry, I got that one on the mind because that card's just ridiculous. You draw a card or gain 4 armor. So it's almost shield block, almost, for 3 mana. That card's been buffed to 2. It's kind of reminiscent of Furious Howl as well, but not as good because you don't gain as much armor. But it blossoms in 3 turns, meaning you have to have this in your hand for 3 turns for this to be a little bit better, where it doubles its effect. You draw 2 cards, so like Arcane Intellect, and gain 8 armor. And that's a lot of armor. That's an insanely good card once it upgrades, but 3 turns, you gotta hold this in your hand for that to get that effect. That seems pretty slow. I'm assuming when it up blossoms that it will keep the discount if it's been discounted by that mana cheat spell, but at the end of the day, it's very slow. And I'm just thinking about card draw in Druid right now. In Standard, it's not amazing. It really isn't amazing. Like, you got Nourish, you have your 4/5 that draws 2 cards, you have the 3/2 that like draws a nature spell and ramps you up. There's not a ton of amazing draw that I can't dismiss this as a playable Standard card. I think it's way too slow for Wild, but maybe, just maybe, it's good enough in Standard, because that 8 armor draw 2 can be valuable, and just playing it as draw 1 gain 4, although not amazing. Shield block was playable kind of in Warrior for quite some time at 3. It might be a little bit too slow, but I'm gonna give it a 3 in Standard, just because it has a shot, because there just isn't a ton of draw, and the armor can be good. And if you can be patient, then yeah, it's really solid. But 3 turns is a long time to hold. That is a long time. I don't know how often you're going to get that, but I'll give it a very optimistic 3 in standard. In a wild, you have Furious Howl, you have Branching Paths, you have Fungal Fortunes. You got a million better card draw options there, I think, and it's going to definitely be a 2 in my books there. I don't think it makes the wild cut. We have Conservator? I don't know. Nymph. Ooh, a Nymph. 3 mana, 3/4. Spider Tank. We finally got another 3 mana, 3/4. Battle Cry. Transform a friendly treant into a 5/5 ancient with taunt. So it goes pretty well with that one mana card. But those start off as saplings. You got to get treants. This is only as good as if you're playing a treant deck. And there's really not that much treant support in standard. I just don't see Treant Druid becoming a thing with the few cards we have to make 5/5 taunts. Like, I just don't see it. And again, you're playing a Treant Druid deck. A lot of times you want to be, buffing those Treants, giving them death rattles and all sorts of stuff that you're transforming it is actually can be a downside. And as a standalone card, it's a 3/4. You don't summon anything. It'd be funny. You think this would be like a 3/4, like the other one. Choose one, summon a Treant, or transform it into a 1 into 5/5 ancient with taunt, something like that. But it's not. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 in standard, 2 out of 5 in wild. Treant Druid's kind of a thing in wild, not really, but it's there. But even there, again, I don't think you're playing this card. Definitely not sold on it. And lastly, we have Cultivation, 8 mana nature spell. So not too often we see 8 mana spells from Druid. Well, actually, that's a lie. There's quite a few, but we'll stick with that anyways. I mean, they got one got nerfed to 8 mana, actually like 2. Anyways, give your minions +2. So that's terrible. Costs 1 less for each Treant you've summoned this game. So this is like the big payoff for Treant Druid. Again, in standard, I don't see enough Treant support to make this work. I mean, we could quickly take a look. We'll just go offhand because I really feel like there's not a lot of great Treant cards in standard. Like, you've got Witchwood Apple, you got Natural Causes, Plot of Sin, and that's it. Like, there's just not a lot. You got like Drum Circle into this is like your big way of doing it, but overall, there's just not a lot, right? In wild, we'll talk about that in a second. This card's probably insane, like really good. But in standard, I just don't see enough Treant support. Like, as you see there, like, you're playing a lot of kind of whatever cards. You got your 0 mana, deal 5 damage to yourself, Treant and all that, and you're just lacking the amount of generation you need to really cultivate this card, in my opinion, to really utilize it, break it, make it 0 mana, which it basically needs to be effective. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 in standard as it stands, as again the Treants are lacking. However, in wild, there are so many Treant cards, there's so much you can do to abuse this, where this is gonna be 0 very quickly in wild. And you got, just other ways of abusing that strategy as well. Like Fungal Fortunes is such an incredible card where you're drawing 3 spells. As long as you don't hit a minion, that Cultivation will fit pretty well into a deck like that. That I think this is a very playable wild card, to the point where I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 in wild. But standard, I just don't see enough Treant support, unless I'm missing something. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the cards. And tomorrow, I believe, is Demon Hunter. So get prepared for a lot of mana cheat and drawing cards, and probably some Zeddy rage tomorrow. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.